Hey guys, this is Seth at Control Freak Video Games in Pigeon Forge, and today I'm going to show you how to repair a Gamecube controller stick box. You can see here my left analog stick is way off center, and here you can see how far it moves whenever I actually pull down on the stick. What I'm going to do here is first remove this rear black plastic cage holding the rumble motor and the shoulder buttons. I'm desoldering the wires to the rumble motor. You don't have to do this, this isn't required, but it does make it a little easier. Push these two black plastic tabs on the back and the cage will just pop right out, and then you'll be able to slide the shoulder button boards just out through the bottom. Next up, I'm going to desolder the points for the potentiometers on the stick box. There's 6 of them here, and this is a newer style GameCube controller, so there's 2 screws holding in the stick box assembly. On older GameCube controllers, there's actually 4 more solder points you'll have to remove. There's 4 of them. They're pretty obvious which ones they are. I'm using a desolder sucker vacuum tool to remove the solder as I heat it up. Here are those 2 Phillips head screws I was talking about, holding the back of this stick box in. Just remove those. If this is a newer GameCube controller, just remove those screws, and that releases the assembly. If you've got it properly desoldered, you can wiggle the stick box and it'll pop out. Make sure you do this only if you see that the solder has been properly removed from the points. And this stick is actually brand new. It's just the potentiometers that are bad. At this point, technically you could just replace the stick if the stick is bad, but here I'm just popping off the potentiometers. There's 2 little clips on the side, and you just push in on them and they pop right off. I've taken the potentiometers off an older stick where the insides are bad but the potentiometers are good. Here I'm putting the replacement potentiometers back in place. They just pop on the same way they came off. It's pretty easy and it's pretty obvious where they go. Here I'm putting the leads of the stick box in a little bit of flux. That helps the solder really grab hold. It's not required, but it definitely helps whenever you're soldering things back into place. I'm going to put the screws back into place and then simply solder each one of those legs back in. There's a lot of good tutorials on how to solder online, so I'm not going to go over that, but it's really just as simple as that. If you were replacing the whole stick, the process is the same. You just pull the old one out and put the new one in. Next up, we're going to reassemble the back, putting our black plastic cage assembly back in. You'll just slide your shoulder button pads right back up where they go. And as you're putting the black plastic back in, you'll pop those tabs in. Be mindful of the wires that go to those shoulder button boards. They do have a little notch there where they go, and sometimes they can get caught up underneath the black plastic, so take a good look at that. Make sure you're not pinching them up. Now it's time to put the rumble motor back in. I removed this to keep it from flopping around while I work on it and risk breaking the wires at the motor. It's super simple to just solder right back into place, and the spots they go are labeled, red for positive and black for negative. Here's our new diagnostic. You can see that the stick is much better centered. Most controllers are off by just a little bit whenever you plug them in, but this really was quite an improvement and it plays really well.